Hey guys, it's me again, Orc What Ifs. Where I last left off, let's see, checking. Where I last left off, Deku lived. They were able to get back to his world. Small problem is that right now they have some Inquisitors, and Hizashi was at, when Deku fell unconscious, was holding some of his brothers back. Cause he's still about them. So where we pick off at, or pick up again at, is, well, peculiar situation for Hizashi. As the apothecary is working on Deku, while Inko and Izumi are standing there just like watching it, he's standing there and Hizashi's like over with his brothers, trying to hold a conversation. As for each of them, since it wasn't a perfect transfer, like with Hizashi himself, though they don't know it yet, they weren't able to get full protection. Since they didn't have a Geller field, so still being thrown through the warp and such, they were still altered how they were. So each of them, if they were to have kids, would be like Deku. As we pick up where we left off, as Deku is now unconscious, as they start hearing as the Inquisitors like, Lord Captain, as I'll just call him Captain Barbiel. Gonna be completely honest with you right now, I just used a random name generator. Sorry about that, I accidentally paused the recording. Yeah, so I'm gonna be using this from now on. It seems a lot better than trying to come up with a name on the spot or thinking ahead. It's pretty better. But as like Captain Barbiel, that's the name I just had, Barbiel. Actually, I'm gonna write that down. There we go. I have a name for characters that I've made. I'm starting to do that now because I know I have the habit of forgetting them. So I redid. I also have how I would edit their voice for like Hizashi and Agron. For the Space Marines, I typically do the same setting. I'm gonna think of doing a special one for Nevron, since you know he's kind of an important character. Nevron. And I'll figure out which way to put his voice later. But anyways, till then, Captain Barbiel gets a call from the Inquisitor asking, "Have we landed safely, Captain? Are you with us?" As Barbiel's like, "Give me a second." As he answers the comms, as he puts his helmet back on, I won't be adding in the voice. Yes, Inquisitor. We have arrived safe and soundly at our location. Luckily, thanks to the librarians, we were able to pull Deku back since he lost a few of his feathers before he left. So we were able to use that as a way to connect with him. Or they were able to use it as a way to connect with him and pull him towards us. It's a good thing too. He's in pretty rough shape from the looks of it. It's like, will he survive? These are important questions, Captain. And we should try as soon as possible get in contact with any authority of the Imperium of Man. It's like, I agree, but we should hold our horses. We just barely escaped from a Chaos Warband. We should probably lay low for a little while, so that way we may be okay, or be safe, that we haven't landed in another fight we are not prepared for. I do not know the exact casualties, but I think we might have lost quite a few of them. How many do you consider quite a few? Well, if we're lucky, we probably only lost around 25 Space Marines and 50% of the militia that we had organized. This wasn't a complete Chaos Warband with demons, high-ranking demons in fact as well, powerful sorcerers, and knowing the lamenter's rotten luck. But it seems that it hasn't been plaguing us for a little while. Don't know why. Let's just hope it holds up, Inquisitor. We'll radio you and meet face to face when we are done. As he closes off his comms, he talks with Hizashi saying, "You should probably get you and your wife and daughter out of here. Out of here, is Hizashi. Who knows how long the Inquisitor will wait around before he comes stomping out. Until then, it is good to see you, Hizashi. I am happy to hear that Deku wasn't lying. Deku was always a good kid. How'd he do? He did well, Hizashi. His combat capabilities are far surpassed any one of us. Hell, it would probably take 3 entire squads to even do some damage to him. I am somewhat happy to hear that. I'm curious, does he have armor ready? Yes, he does. He has very tough armor indeed. We had to cannibalize one of the suits of Terminator, which isn't uncommon for very large space marines, but he's larger than some large space marines. Like, probably gonna be about the size of Custodian, maybe a bit larger. Hopefully that'll do well. And his weapon, he's like, chooses the spear and the bolter. Though he does mess around with some of the other weapons, chainsword, normal sword. Doesn't really like the hammer though. He says it doesn't feel right to him. He's like, power claws? He's like, he messed with it once. He stabbed himself. As Hizashi rubs his forehead, how? He's like, well, it's a bit embarrassing, and I don't think you'd rather us tell. He would prefer us not to tell you, for, like I said, it's embarrassing. Just tell me. He's like, alright. So, he wasn't quite used to it. He was still figuring out the weapons he would want to use, and by then he had already sprouted the wings. He's like, he has wings? It's like, you didn't see that, did you? It's like, no, I didn't. It's like, he has wings now. We believe it's due to the essence of the warp. It was sort of messed with his genetics a bit, and similar to our Primarch Sanguinius, he grew wings from it. He's like, I see, and that would also explain his enormous size. Yes, true it would. But get your wife and daughter out of here. We'll settle down. It's like, you can't keep the secret from the Inquisitor forever. He's like, we can damn well try. It's gonna require a lot of snooping though. As unbeknownst to them, they are being recorded by the assassin. She snuck around, like, after the Inquisitor told her to go find them, as the Inquisitor is wanting to make, like, do a roundup, like, of the civilians and make sure that none of them are infected with chaos, or infected, quote unquote, with chaos. As it's like, very well, I'll go search around. As then she records the conversation about, we can't keep the secret from him forever. You know that, right? He's like, yeah, well, we can damn well try. He's old, I think. Don't know how long he'll live, but shouldn't be that long. Right, Hizashi's like, oh no. We'll be back for Deku later, though. You could just tell him he went on a advanced scouting mission to scout out the world. Deku, how long could you say that Deku could fly for? We don't know. We haven't really tested it. We haven't tested how far he can, or how long he can fly yet. It's more or less he uses it for combat. He's, like I said, quite impressive, Hizashi. Your son is naturally gifted. He's like, I would hope he would. As Hizashi tells Izumi and Inko that they gotta leave, that the Inquisitor is probably gonna be here for long. As then the assassin sees Hizashi talking with, well, you know, Eldar, as she would put it. As this is being broadcasted to the Death Watch and such. Sorry if you hear that, I'm messing with the thing. As, we cut over to Deku, who is like a day or so later. The Inquisitor doesn't tell that he knows about the information about, you know, Inko and such. He keeps it to himself, along with the Death Watch keeping it to themselves. As they get, like, they remain shut off. They shut themselves off, essentially, from the rest of the lamenters. As, again, they make good on their promise and come pick up Deku, as they teleport him to the house. As they're like, you may have to duck down, Deku, alright? As Deku was like almost overjoyed, but is like, keep it down. They don't know we've teleported in. As they beam him up. And he teleports there. As he's like standing there, he does have to somewhat bend his head down a little bit. As he's like, well, this is a lot smaller than I remember. As he's like, it's so good to see you all. As he's like, your father's waiting upstairs, come. It's like, alright. So, what did you tell people when I disappeared? It's like, we just told them you disappeared. It's like, I could say that... Shit, what can I say? Like, we'll figure that out later, Deku. Right now, let's just be glad you're home, alright? As it's like, alright, Mom. As Izumi's, like, walking quietly behind Deku, as it's like, hey, Izumi, it's good to see you here. As he puts a hand on her head, she's like, it's good to see you too, Deku. It's like, so how long have I been gone? A year or two. He's like, alright, so hasn't been that long for you, or, well, not a year or two, he's been gone for a bit more. I think he's 16, he went there when he was like 12, 13. I'm not entirely sure, I forget ages. So sorry, but he's like, well, you're 16 now, right? He's like, yep. He's like, good. So, what's changed with you? He's like, oh, nothing much. Then he like his walls hitting the side of the wall, except, well, these wings, they can get kind of annoying. He's like, yes, I was actually wondering about that. How do you wash those? He's like, effort and help from serfs. It's like, you have serfs? Became really a part of the chapter. I really got my own set of serfs. Though they're more like scout marines, really. They were still in training. As then Deku thinks, oh shoot, how many did we lose? Oh, it's gotta be bad. As he rubs a hand through his hair, he's like, the battle losses must be great. We were fighting demons, of course. As then they get up there, Hisashi's like waiting there with waiting. As he's like, Deku, it's like, as Deku gets down on like one knee and says, as he like puts a fist to the ground, as he bows his head, he's like, I'm sorry, father. I've been away for too long. As Hisashi walks up, and he's pretty much like, as Deku like is on one knee, Hisashi is a bit taller than him, and he's like, you're right, son, you've been away too long. As he like gives him a hug. It is good to know you are here, Deku. As Deku just like sort of embraces him back. As Deku has to be careful not to hug too hard, because he is a bit stronger than his dad. Like I said, he can fight a dreadnought at this point. It's like, so what's on the first of today's agenda? It's like, let's just enjoy our time together as a family. Let's go out for a little while. Hopefully people won't, well, hopefully we'll be able to report to the police that you arrived. It's like, how are we gonna do that? It's like, we'll do it, okay, well, Inko? As they like talk with one another, it's like, and Deku's just standing there waiting. As Izumi's like petting his wings, they're really soft. It's like, yeah, I know. Some of the serfs want to pluck my feathers for pillows. It was weird. It's like, the Space Marine's nice. He's like, most of them know about you guys, so, and they're okay with it, I suppose. As Inko and Hisashi are just like still talking really fast, it's just like, so, fought a demon. A bigger demon. Man, that guy was tough. It's like, really? It's like, well, most of them would have been tough if I didn't get the drop on them. I'm not a space marine, but I'm not a Primarch either. Yelling demons ain't easy. Especially higher level ones. Oh, just thank God. Thank the Emperor. What do I say for this occasion? I'll just go with the Emperor. Thank for the Emperor. Thank the Emperor. There weren't any greater demons. That was something that would have been too much for me. Oh, sorry if you heard that. My phone just... Oh, it's a thing from Discord. Go away. There you go. As he continues to talk with Izumi about his time there, he's like, yeah, that's when alright, we came up with an idea. I'm like, oh, really? It's like, yep. It's not the best. Not the worst. He's like, as Deku's like, how's it not the best or the worst? We tell them, just showed up. Because there's no way we get to say this. You say you lost your memory of what happened the last 2 years, and you now have wings. He's like, that is your plan. It's like, yep. Oh, how screwed am I? As Deku like is putting a hand over his forehead, he's like, if you give me a bit of time, we could probably think of something too. It's like, oh really? Great. As Inko's like, oh, okay. Any ideas? It's like, I need a bit of time. Come on. As everyone's just a bit, what's the word? Frazzled? Dizzy, or something along those lines of how they should be right now, and their minds are sort of just like hopping from emotion to another emotion. It's like bouncing all around their head. Same thing with Hisashi, now that he has more emotions. And as Deku's like, I guess I would say that I could possibly go with, know what I should say? It's a difficult decision, man. Really difficult. As like, you know what? We'll think about it later, Deku. That's alright. It's like, I got it. Alright. So here's what I first think. As he lays it down, they're like, that is actually really good. And what would happen then? It's like, can't let you guys know anything. I keep it a bit secret, you see. He's like, okay. So you went training by yourself. It's like, yep. As he would say that, I realized that my dad, you guys wouldn't allow me to go through the training I needed, as he would say, to attain my highest point, he would say. And that it was nothing on you guys, I just left because I need to get stronger. As it's like, people wouldn't believe that, would they? It's like, well, as Izumi says, well, he never really he didn't talk to anyone that much. He was kind of quiet sometimes. But everyone did generally like him. Once he got his quirk. Well, when he got not his quirk, but when he sort of spoke, everyone could tell that he was a really nice guy. And so, all that. It's like, how do we tell them about your bulking up? It's like, and the wings. He's like, I'll tell them that it was a part of my quirk. It's like a superhuman soldier with wings who's also 11 feet tall. It's like, it's a stretch, but it's like, you're 3 feet tall. No, wait, you're not even 3 feet. You're 4 feet taller than All Might. 4, Deku. 4. And your dad is only, well, he's barely taller than All Might. He's taller than All Might by a few inches. That's it. He's like, it's a stretch, but it's gotta be better than nothing. He's like, alright, fine. Your mother's already tall. Your dad's already tall. Could just say your height's somewhat combined, I guess. As Izumi's like, now come on, guys, let's go. As Deku looks at Izumi, and he's like, there's a little sister I remember. As they go out and have a day. As back over at, well, Lamenter HQ, the Inquisitor brings the whole, Eldar thing up with the captain at an assembly. As, well, as they explain it, it's like, as the Inquisitor's like, we need to talk, Captain. Seeing Captain's like, What is it? He's like, I know about the Eldar as everything goes dead quiet. As the captain realizes what's about to go down, as he thinks, alright, as he gives like an order, like none of them can hear him since he like closes off the mic to his helmet real quick. Or, well, he doesn't close off the mic, he looks at like, well, he can't really do anything now that I think about it. His helmet isn't on. He presses a panic button, essentially, is what I'd say. It's like that would summon summon high-ranking members. As Nevron is like one of the only ones to show up as. Right now, Agron is pretty much been put like to sleep for a little bit, because he's been active for quite a while, and he took a lot of damage when it came to fighting the Chaos forces. So they decide to like give him a bit of a rest. As the Inquisitor starts asking his questions, why did you not inform us that we were on a planet with Xenos? As the whole need to purge all Xenos comes out in the Inquisitor and the Black Templar. As they all listen to the recording again, and they see Inko and such, as they proclaim Izuku Midoriya is as they would put it, an abomination. As the Inquisitor and the Black Templar claim him to be a abomination, as the other Death Watch Marines weren't one of the ones who kind of like that. As the Black Templar and the Inquisitor are really extreme. The assassin with the Inquisitor doesn't really have any emotions or any personal feelings on the thing or on the subject. She merely just like stays in her own lane. As Captain tries to explain, as he's like, listen here, with the authority of the Emperor's Holy Inquisition and Ordo Xenos, I hereby order you to kill Hazashi, Inko Midoriya, Izumi, and finally, that abomination known as Izuku Midoriya. As Nevron pretty much speaks up saying, you can give no such order, Inquisitor. We are free to do as we please, for as long as we stay within the tenets of the Codex Astarte and comply with the Imperial Creed. As the Inquisitor tries to counter-argument, but one of the Black Templar, or one of the Death Watch Marines, actually says that he is right. For all intents and purposes, the Space Marines are not obligated to follow any such rules of not letting half-breeds into their ranks. And that, from what they know of, like, I'm pretty sure that it's almost banned for any, like you're not allowed to have, like, any children with a alien or anything. But I'll say that those rules are lessened. Like, they're all about purge the Xenos. But for this instance, I'll say that when it comes to Imperial recruitment, he may be an abomination, but it's entirely up to the Space Marines to choose if they want to have him in or not. So they tell the Inquisitor that he is stepping out of line. Then the Inquisitor demands that, fine, then Hazashi Midoriya and his other two will be put to death for the crimes he has committed. As what crimes? Your laws do not abide with a Space Marine, for the simple fact it was never intended for Space Marines. For all we know, that Hazashi was dead. And for that, you can't command anything about him. He's a Space Marine and we will deal with our own. As then he tries to go after Inko and such. If they are truly married, as marriages with Space Marines are very uncommon. But still, as being the husband of one of our battle brothers, or the wife of our battle brother, she is ours to protect, and if she has violated any of our creeds, we will deal with it personally. As the Captain slams his fist on the table, as that was, like, after they said he was right, They switch back over to the captain, as the Inquisitor can't do doodly squat. Unless he wants to fight an entire chapter's or an entire company's worth of Space Marines. And he's questioning the loyalty of a few of his Death Watch Marines. The Black Templar says that this is heresy, and that they say that the Black Templar is out of line, that he does not outrank anyone here. The Inquisitor doesn't outrank anyone here. They have no jurisdiction whatsoever. So for the Black Templar and the Inquisitor, they run off, they walk off in a huff, like, this is not over, Captain. As, like, they burst through the doors, like, some Scout Marines and, like, Neophytes, like, move out of the way. As the other Death Watch Marines, like, bow their head and apologize for their sergeant's behavior. As Captain says, it is fine. Now leave. There are other matters that me and Nevron must discuss. As they bow their heads, of course, Captain. As they walk away. As Nevron's like, this will be a difficult thing to explain to Deku now, will it? It's like, indeed it will be, but what are we to do? Oh no. As then the assassin comes out nowhere saying, I could be of help. As the assassin doesn't really... She's more free thinking, and that's very rare, from what I know. That they're not really supposed to have free thoughts when it comes to certain things. It's supposed to be pretty much follow orders. She explains that the Inquisitor wishes to try and destroy a valuable weapon to the Empire, to the Imperium, as that's how she views Deku, is that she's sort of like Space Marines, he is a weapon, and he will be used as such. As for the other, like, 3 Space Marines, she doesn't really care. If it means keeping them alive, if they will have Deku on their side, that's a price that's willing to pay, as she was able to, like, see how Deku was able to perform on the battlefield. And she says that he took down quite a lot of them. Quite a lot of traitors, chaos demons, and the like. She's full well in killing the Inquisitor and that Black Templar if it means keeping Deku. As the captain says, we will see, assassin. Until then, be ready. As we skip back over to Deku and them as they're enjoying that day. As first they report it to the I don't remember if I said they'll report it to the police, but I'll say they did. That Deku came back as he explains the story, as Hisashi and Inko, like, played along, saying that they didn't want him doing anything too dangerous, and that they named numerous fabricated, like, parts where Deku would try to do something way beyond him, and they would stop him immediately. So as Deku would explain, he got fed up one day, and so he just decided to leave, knowing that he could not reach his full potential. As the police are on the edge on, how do we accept this? This doesn't seem like something we can just let slide, can it? It's like, I don't know, the kid was thinking on his own. Where'd you live? He's like, I went to a deserted island. It's like, a deserted island? Well, not necessarily. I went to a bunch of different places. And it's like, and from what we heard last, you didn't have wings. He's like, that is true. It's like, when did you grow them? A little bit after I left home. It's like, was there any suggestions you might have grown them beforehand? It's like, no. It's like, I guess there's nothing else we can say about the matter. It's like, would you mind going in for a medical examination? It's like, sure. As they examine him, and they say there's nothing really that different with him. Like, he didn't need any of the augments the Space Marines wanted to give him. So they sort of stayed away from it. So then we skip to Deku, and as they're all hanging out, they come across a guy as it's like, Izumi? As it's a guy with big lips, and he has, like, brown spiky hair as he's eating, like, some sweets. As it's like, hey, Sato! It's good to see you! As in, it's like, Sato is like, yes, this is one of my friends. Or, as we all know him, the true name, Captain Diabetes. And this is where I'm going to be ending this one off at. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Sorry it took me so long. It's been like over a week, I think. Let me check real quick. I'm pretty sure it's a week. Yeah, sorry about the, like, this is so late. Been like, I've just been kind of lazy when it comes to uploading. Sorry about that. But I hope you guys will enjoy this. And, yeah, hope you guys have a nice day, nice night, nice life.